Hello world, welcome back to CyberCreate. Today in this video we are going to see how you can create a powerful virtual assistant using OpenAI API that connects with you. ChatGPT gets the input in the form of voice, and then it's look like personal Jarvis that can perform any task that you want to do. So if you are interested in creating the project like this, and you can also put it inside your portfolio. So with that said, let's get this video started and let's create this killing powerful AI virtual assistant. Okay, so to first start, I will open up my VS Code and let's start by installing some of the dependencies. So the very first thing that is required is the OpenAI API key. But if you don't have the money to buy OpenAI API key, or you don't have the resources, then I will be creating a video where I will be showing you how you could use large language models that are free of cost to do the same and run those models locally. But the steps are pretty much going to be very similar. You just would have to change the model name if you are going to use something else. So please make sure to watch this video very carefully. I will be explaining each and every step. So first thing first, you have to create your .env file, which is going to store your environment variables. And the first thing that we need to save is OpenAI API key. So I'll simply copy the OpenAI API key. So it should be something like OpenAI API key. And then here you have to basically paste your OpenAI API key. And after creating that in env file and saving your environment variables, the next and very important thing is to create your main.py file, because that is where we will be writing the code. And the first thing to access this .env constraint from .env file to our main file, we need to load this, and for that we need a library. So let's open up our terminal and first create a virtual environment, because virtual environment is very important, that will contain all our code. So we can say Python -mvenv /jar-env. We could give pretty much any name, but let's change this to yes. Okay, now we have created the environment, so let me just quickly activate it. So I have activated it. So I just open up the terminal, and once you click yes and open up a new terminal, it automatically activates your environment. So now let's clear this. So now what we have to do, we have to install pip install, and here are a few things. So we have to install OpenAI lang chain. Okay, not long chain. First, let's install Python pip install OpenAI, so we can basically interact with OpenAI server to get our response back. And also we have to say pip install python.env. So python.env is the library that is going to take the responsibility of basically loading your environment variables. So what we have to do, we can basically say from, so the first thing we have to load the environment variable. So from .env, so we could simply say from .env import load env. So here you say load.env, and we can simply say load.env, and this will simply load all the environment variables that you are going to save in your .env file. Now we will be going to the website exploring how you could also do the same project if you were in the same foot and wanted to create something else, something like this. So let me open up my browser. So here is the browser. So the first thing that we need to know is how we can basically connect Python with OpenAI. So we can say, first let me go to google.com. We can simply go to documentation, API references, and here you are going to see how we could simply use OpenAI package. So from OpenAI import OpenAI, but we have to make a request to get something. So this is for streaming, but let's just copy and test if it is working or not. So I have simply pasted it, and here it says GPT-4, but you could say GPT 3.5 turbo. It's GPT 3.5 score turbo, and let's just clear it. And now let's run the program again, python main.py. So now you are going to see it is going to say this is test or whatever, say this is test, and it's simply printed. So nothing magical here, but this was to stream the output. If we say write the, so here is the content where the user will pass what it wants from the server. So here we can say write an essay on ChatGPT, something like this. So, and once it writes it here, it start writing. So instead of throwing the output at once, it streams the output, and that's why you see some delay before each and every one of them. So that is how it works. So but we don't need in that particular format. So for that, what we can do, we can simply remove the stream. So if we remove the stream and we simply print the stream, we simply say print stream, then you are going to see the response is going to come at much more delay, but it will be complete response. And here you see the response is inside the content. So to get the response from there, we can say stream. So inside stream, we have to first go inside the content. So here is the choices. So stream, so you have to very carefully just take the content out of it. So stream, it automatically shows dot choices, and from dot choices we have to get the first one because it is a list, and then the content choices, and let's see dot is giving anything. So it's not giving, but it have to be message. Yeah, message and then content, message, and is this a list? No. Dot let's try to run this again, and this would just give the content, because we are just interested in the content. We don't need additional information. If you are creating something like Jarvis, that once we ask something, it responds. So yes, now here title, a brief introduction to GPT, and every information is coming as required. So we have achieved something. We are able to get the output, which is good, but here is one problem. If we ask about it multiple times, so it is not going to save the history. That is the big problem here. So let's suppose in a Jarvis, it should remember, it should have its memory to remember whatever you are going to ask. But if we are going to use this OpenAI API, just the OpenAI library, it is going to be pretty much very difficult to implement that. So let's suppose I have asked it to write a brief about ChatGPT, and if I ask to let's suppose summarize it. So from summarize it, it will not find the context of what we are actually wanting to summarize. So in that case, it will fail. So for that, we have to use the LangChain that helps us with memory. So we can simply go to the LangChain and say LangChain memory. So this is the Python, this is the JS. We need the first one, so memory. So chat messages. So from LangChain, we require this chat history, but for the first time, we need to install the LangChain. So we can simply go here, we can say pip install LangChain, and this is going to install the LangChain. So client is equal to OpenAI, we don't need to initialize that, but let's clear it and let's go to this. So we have to import this statement chat OpenAI, we don't need it, but I just showed you what are the limitations so that you think you could basically think for yourself which library is required and what all features we should give to the particular application while creating it. So we have imported a chat history and history chat history. Okay. No, this is so we need this one. This was that conversational buffer memory. So here is the code. Let's just first import this, because this is much more powerful than those. And here is the complete code that I could simply copy it and paste. So conversational chain, conversational buffer memory is also imported, and OpenAI is now implemented or imported using LangChain. So here we don't need to specify that model as 3.5 turbo, because by default it picks up the model 3.5 turbo. But here I am not using GPT-4 because the GPT-4 response is much slower as compared to GPT 3.5. If GPT 3.5 response in 1 to 2 seconds, the GPT 4 response might take 5 to 10 seconds or even 20-30 seconds, depending upon the complexity of the question. So we need the faster input, and for most of the tasks, this for chatting with voice also, it is going to be perfect, and we need quicker response. So here we would have the conversational chain is there, and LLM is also initialized, so we could simply say conversational.predict, something like this. And let's just first try, and the output should be inside data. Let's suppose data is the output, and if we say print data, python main.py, and if I run this, so it will just execute a chain, and from that it will provide me the response. So its response says, hello, it's nice to meet you, I'm an AI, blah blah blah. This is good, we have finally got somewhere, but let's try to check if our problem is resolved or not. So let's try to say first that write a short essay on GPT-3, and let's don't save the output for here, but then again we are going to ask it to summarize it. We are not going to give it what it have to summarize it, and we have to check if it knows what we are actually talking, because here you see memory is equal to conversational buffer memory. We have given it the buffer memory to save the outputs. So summarize it. I know the summarize spelling might not be correct, but yes, I have bad habit of making mistakes. So now if I clear and run the code, so first I write a short essay on GPT-3, it wrote, then here in summary GPT, so here write a short essay on GPT-3, then summarize it in summary. GPT-3 is an advance, however it's also critical, and blah blah blah. Every information is now printed, and now it knows the memory, because we are going to create Jarvis, it should remember the memory, and that is why we have implemented this. But now let me fix it. So these are the things that are initialized by default, and so we have to basically create a function that is going to be responsible for taking the input and just returning the required output. So we can say def so we can simply say def get response, and here user query, whatever user query is going to be, and in the same way conversational.predict response is equal to conversational.predict, and instead of write a short essay on GPT-3, we can simply say whatever user query is going to be. So I will paste it, user query. But while talking with Jarvis, we need faster answer, smaller answer. So for that, what we can apply a trick is we can simply create a temp and say with dot by. So let's suppose the user asks to provide a short summary about India. So it should not write or 500 words and try to spell 500 words. It will be just boring. So we can simply, if you think it is not going to be boring, you can just simply skip this step, and you can it will be completely fine. But here we want short and precise answer, so we have to say so here we can simply say make sure to provide answers in less than 50 50 to 100 words, so that it limits the response, and whatever message is going to be there, we can simply say user query plus this temp, or we can simply return this. Instead of saving it in response and then we could return in response, we can simply say return conversational chain dot predict the response. So let's try to get something out of it. So we are creating the step bit by bit. Firstly, we are trying to focus on a model that is capable enough to remember something with the memory and then also provide the output to us. So we can simply say tell me all about GPT-2, and let me clear the screen, and let me just delete this for now, or let me just comment it because we are going to require it. So python main.py. So here you see it says tell me about GPTs and make sure to provide answer in less than 50 words, because we did not get anything because we did not save the output. And let's print it. And let's rerun this. So here GPT generative pre-trained model is a state of art of blah blah blah. It is giving the answer, and it's not too big. It will be quick and easy enough to for you to understand. So now once it is there, but as you have wondered, we are going to create a Jarvis. So we have to tell our model that it is a Jarvis and it should respect us, provide us answer properly, so that we can actually feel like it's Jarvis, of course. So here I have written this prompt to make it work like Jarvis, so I'll simply paste it. So predict. So here at the very first we are going to say hello, you are Jarvis, designed to assistant with the task in a respectful and efficient manner, so that it provides response in an efficient manner. It does not go around boggling things that are not required, and write a short and precise to the point answers. So this is also there. So the first thing that the model is going to remember that its name is Jarvis, and then we can keep on asking things afterwards. So these are some of the things that are initialized as soon as the model starts. But now we are getting the response, which is very, very good. But the next thing that is required is to convert this response into audio so that it speaks to us as the Jarvis speaks. So for that too, I'll be using OpenAI API. So let's go and check OpenAI API voice. So speak to text, we don't need, we need text to speech so that we can convert the audio. So here is what it is telling us to do. So let's import these things. First let me format. LangChain is done. We are now initializing the client using OpenAI. This might create a conflict. So what I will do, I will simply create def def stream audio, and whatever response we are going to get, and inside this I would import these things, so that is that it just remains within the function, because we don't need outside the function. And also remember, you could use other libraries to convert this text into audio. It will be similar, but this OpenAI audio is much more versatile and much more manly, or you could say much more human-like. So I will create this client and then this simple code, and let me just paste it here. Okay, model TTS input, wonderful, stream to file. So there are multiple voices that can be done, but for now let's say we call the stream audio on our data. So instead of this particular input, we can simply say remove this goddamn input, provide the response, then we can say stream audio, and then we can simply say data. So here you see, once we save the file, a speech.mp3 file is going to be created here. That is going to contain whatever information is required. So let's clear and run the code. So first it is going to get the response about GPT inside our data variable, and then it is going to say stream audio of the data, which is going to create a mp3 file, and here we can simply play to check.
GPT-2, Generative Pre-trained Transformer 2, is a state-of-the-art natural language processing model developed.
So here you see we are able to create the voices, and there are different voices to choose from. You could choose any of these voices.
The sun rises in the east.
Here
in the heart of the city, there is
The
a
library
large
is a
park
quiet
where
and
people
peaceful place where people go to read, study, and learn.
this
The
is
shelves
much
are
better,
filled with
but
books
let's
on-
go on.
The train chugged along the tracks, carrying passengers
In the kitchen, the aroma of freshly.
The beach was a popular spot on a
to their destinations. The rhythmic sound of
This sounds much more good, but... And here are the supported output format. OPS, ANC, FLSE for lossless audio compression, favored for audio enthusiastic, for OPS for internet streaming and communication for low latency, which is I think going to be faster. So let's see where these parameters are defined. So model TTS1, OPS, FLC, anywhere here. Let me check. And output format. Okay, let me just click this. The model is this, the voice is this, input is equal to response, and we could also say one more parameter because we need to play this audio. We don't simply need to save it there. So we can simply say response format is equal to mp3 or whatever here are the available file formats. OPS, ACC, FLC, it just says that, but here are much more: ACC, FLC, MP3 or OPS. So we will be using MP3 library Pythons to basically play the audio. So now we are simply getting the audio too. Now we need to play it. So for that we are going to use the library called play sound. So you could simply say Python play sound. Spelling mistake is my specialty. So we can say pip install play sound, and it's very easy to play sound using this. So from play sound, just provide the path and it is good to go, and it can simply play mp3 files. So here we have to import, no, first we have to install it, and here is the trick part. Okay, it installed method, because it's not, is it installed? Let's try to check. No, not here. You are going to be here, and here we have to simply say play sound, and then here we see the file path. So we could simply typecast it to string to make sure that the file path is provided in the form of string. And let's clear this, and instead of writing tell me about GPT-2, we can say tell a joke about AI, something like that. That is much more shorter as compared to our other responses. So response format mp3, there is problem because there is this comma missing. So let's clear it and then run the program. And here it says framework bin Python, and there was this message pip install pyobc if not found. So this is required to basically play the audio much more efficiently, and I think it is kind of required to install it. So I use pip, so I will write pip install this. And yes, finally it's installed. It took pretty much some time, but let's, okay, no, not pip install, python main.py. Let's try to see if our code is working fine or not. So it have finished the chain. Now,
Sure. Here's a joke for you. Why did the AI cross the road? To get to the other algorithm. Get it? Algorithm instead of side? I know. I'm still working on my humor algorithms, but I promise I'll get better at telling jokes with time.
yes, so you see the audio was now being played and everything is working kind of fine till now, but yes, the joke were funny. Here is
Sure. Here's a joke for you.
And the audio is good. It's sounds like pretty much human-like voice. So we have worked on two things. We have given the memory to our model. We can basically get the output as a voice, but also we require to input as a voice. So for that, we have to write another function to make sure that it inputs in a voice. Let me just format the document. Now it's look better. So what for that, there is some library that we could use. So let's check. Python take audio library, something like this. So there is library known as speech recognition. Speech, because we need the speech to be converted to text. So we have to basically install this and install, and there is this documentation. Have they provided the code? From speech recognition as SR, we can simply take the input and yes, let's try to do that. So first thing first, we have to basically import. Firstly we have to install this. We installed it. So let's see if it installs perfectly without causing any problem. So yes, the installation is done. So now what we have to do, we have to basically import it. Import like this, and now let's write a function that is going to take or handle the input, and once we speak something, it listens to it and then provide what we have told in the form of text. Then we can simply pass that to our get response, and then get response can basically, we can call stream audio, and then it will be end to end then. So first let's comment this out because we don't need to stream audio for now. We can simply say def take command. So because it is going to take command from us, from the user, so we can simply say this r is equal to sr dot recognizer. We have to basically initialize it, and then as is there other code? So let's look at geeks for geeks. Let me write it with, because I think the resources are not so good, with sr dot microphone, because we need to open up the microphone to listen to it from microphone, and microphone as we can name it as source, so URCE source. We can first print listening, so that we know that actually we have opened up the microphone and it is ready to listen. Listening for your command, sir. Something like this. Yeah, not a good joke, but yes. And we can say r dot pause threshold to be 1. So it is just the number of seconds it should pause to listen to our command. And then we have to say audio is going to be equal to r dot listen, so whatever it listens, and from the source. So source is same. Okay, Then we have to use try and catch, because it is also possible that user did not speak something and there are just some background noises, and then it tries to convert it into English text, which is not going to be possible, and then the things break. So we have to use the try catch. So we can simply say try. So first we have to try recognizing. So we can simply say recognizing. So recognizing, and then we have to basically say, we can say query is equal to r.recognize audio, recognize. So there are multiple things, so but the best one is Google. So let me use recognize. I think there is also Google, not Google Cloud. r.recognize is this. And then we have to also provide the audio that it have listened to, and then also the language. So language is equal to EN IN, because that is English India, so Indian English it should be able to understand. And then if it is unable to recognize that, we can say accept exception as ER, which is error, and then we can simply say print I didn't not listen it. Could you please repeat it? Or we could also put the error if required, just some time for debugging if it happens again and again. And then here from this we can return none. So if the response is none, or we can simply say return query if everything went well. So now let's try to run this code just to see if the take command is able to take the command. So take command, and let me just conversational.predict. Let me just comment it so we don't waste our resources running the model again and again when we don't need it. Okay, there is something. No model name pi audio. Yeah, there are multiple dependencies. Pip install pi audio. And let's just comment the change that was, okay, this was the one responsible for. Oh no. Okay, so now it's asking for my microphone permission. So I will simply allow it. Hello, how are you doing? Oh, sorry, we didn't print anything. So query QUERY, query is equal to print take command print query. And let's now test it out. Okay, the first thing first, I didn't use f-string to print the error. And let's run this. Hello, how are you doing? Yes, so now it's able to recognize our commands. Hello, how are you doing, and things like that. So let's take it none. So now we are able to take command. Now what we have to do? So let's summarize what we have done till now. We have put every pieces together. We have created the model that is responsible for taking the responses from the user. So So this we have created this that returns the response from the AI for whatever question we throw at it, and then we have also written the function for streaming the audio that streams the response out in the form of the audio, quite manly audio, and then we have also written the command for taking the command. Now let's try to chain these things together. So first we take the command, put that into the get response, and get response, then save that response and stream with audio. So let's try it out. So let's say, let me just undo the query. User, okay, let's take this user query. User query is this, and then we have to basically call this get response to get the response in the form of text. So here we get the response in the form of text. So let me just put the comment. Getting response from user via voice for the user query from the GPT-3 API, and this have to be then passed to this stream audio response. So let me just write it there. Let this response be the variable for this. Okay, get response, and this is to stream the response from the GPT. Stream the response from the GPT-3. So now we get the command, we get the response, and then we stream it. So let's try. So let it be the Jarvis, and let's run the command again. And let me just put it here. Everything is set up, and let's try to run the code. Tell me a joke about hacking. It's recognizing. It's sent the prompt.
Let me think. Here's one. Why did the hacker install a clock on their computer? Because they wanted to keep track of all the time they were spending hacking. Get it? Because hacking takes a lot of time and effort. I hope that made you laugh.
Yes, it made me laugh and cry at the same time, but yes, now the pieces are tied together. So these are the key things. But now the problem is it just runs for one and it forgets. So how we can keep on asking things? We implemented the memory in hope that user is going to keep on asking things. So for that we have to write another function that binds this all, and it runs this for eternity. So for that what we have to do, we have to write a main function that is going to combine this all. So we can say def main, and let's first say let's first try to stream the audio saying that, hey, I am Jarvis, something like this, so it sounds much more like Jarvis. So we can say stream audio, hello, I am Jarvis, your AI assist, your AI assistant. How may I assist you, or something like this. How may I assist you today? So firstly this will stream this audio just to make it sound more like Jarvis. So we can say while true, oh my bad English. So while true, first we have to get this user query. Here I made this none. Let me make it just none. So we can say if user query. That was the reason I made it none. If user Okay, what is there? Oh, I just user if user query, which means if user query is not none. So if there is something, so then we have to do this, or if not. Okay, if there is user query, which is going to make much sense, we have to get the response. We have to get the response, then stream the response. We could also print the response just to see. Print the response, and yes, and then we can say either main like this, or we could use if underscore underscore main. But let's try to run this and check if everything worked. Tell me a joke about cyber crimes. It went, finished the chain, and let's see.
Sure, here's a joke about cyber crimes. Why did the hacker break into the bakery? Because he wanted to steal some cookie data. Get it? Cookie data? It's a play on words, since cookies are also a term used in internet browsing. I hope that made you laugh.
Yes.
Hello, I am Jarvis, your AI assistant. How may I assist you today?
Tell me another joke about the same category. So I said same category.
Here's another one.
To get the output in
cybercrime. Jail because he was caught red-handed. Get it? Red-handed is a term used to describe someone caught in the act of committing a crime. I hope that one made you chuckle as well.
So let me just clear it out, and it say hello, I am Jarvis later, because this query ran first. We did not commented it, but let's comment it. And also we require some way of telling that telling the program to basically exit, because you could say hey Jarvis exit or whatever, exit or buy or whatever. So we can say words, exit words, for now let's just say buy. User query, so if buy in user query, so if user say buy, or in user query, then it should basically exit. It should basically break out of this and blah. So let's try it out now.
Hello, I am Jarvis, your AI assistant. How may I assist you today?
Tell me who is the winner of World Cricket Championship in
The winner of the most recent World Cricket Championship was England in 2019. They defeated New Zealand in a thrilling final match that went into a super over. England's captain, Ewan Morgan, led the team to their first ever World Cup victory. The tournament was held in England and Wales and featured 10 teams from around the world.
Yes, you could provide more details. So it will remember about the cricket, and then I can ask for the more details, and this will remember the previous conversation and then respond accordingly. So let's see.
Of course, the World Cricket Championship, also known as the ICC Cricket World Cup, is a quadrennial international cricket tournament organized by the International Cricket Council.
But I think you get the point. I just paused the audio. That it makes is that it remembers the last response. It can follow up with the next question, and yes, it is reasonable enough. And in the next video, we are also going to see how we can implement it using our own open source text to voice model, simply using Google Voice, or also using Llama 2, which is open source model that you can run on your own system to basically run this setup for free. But everything that is required and we have done are good. Bye. Blah blah blah. I was speaking something, but let's try to see if it get exit using saying bye or exit.
Great. I hope my answers were helpful. Is there anything else I can assist you with? I am always here to provide information and help with tasks. Just let me know what you need, and I will do my best to assist you.
No, but bye for now. I'll meet you. Bye bye. So it's recognizing and it exited the program because bye was something I told. So this is how you could create a very own AI assistant, but there are many things that can be done to increase its capacity to utmost limit. You could implement it. You could implement a OS library that could execute system commands so that you can simply say, hey Jarvis, change the system theme or find the saved Wi-Fi passwords and things like that. You can connect it to the internet using other resources, and if it has a connection to the internet, you can fetch the latest information out of the internet and then get answers to it. And well, you could chat it while you are alone. You could give it your own personality for your own girlfriend. You can change the voice to girls too if you prefer that, and you can make it much more powerful. You can give it the math tools. So there is a separate section for launching tools that you could use to enhance its power to much greater heights. So if you are interested in increasing its more capacity, please let me know down in the comment section and I will create a video on that. And for now, this is it. Aditya signing off. Bye bye.